Richard Hustwick, who's the media liaison for the Ontario Athletic Commission. Is that right?
That's right.
And Richard, you know, MMA has only become legalized, as it were, in the province of Ontario for a short while. What's been the challenges for you guys, you know, as a new commission or as a commission that's taking on mixed martial arts?
Well, you're right. Professional MMA became legal in Ontario the first of the new year. The Athletics Commissioner, Ken Hayashi, has been working with professional boxing and kickboxing for years. It's a whole new game now with mixed martial arts. What we do is we ask each promoter who wants to get a license for an event to contact our office, the Office of the Athletics Commissioner, come in, talk to the commissioner, explain what they have in mind for an event. It's a good opportunity for the commissioner to meet them, and it's also a good opportunity for these promoters to talk to the commissioner, because most of them have never promoted an MMA event before, certainly not in Ontario. So it gives them an opportunity to talk to the commissioner and find out what the requirements are for holding an event.
And what's been the challenges to dealing with brand new people? With, you know, it's a brand new sport to a lot of people here, and there's brand new you know, people organizing it and promoters. What's been the biggest challenge?
Well, everyone is new, so it's a real educational process for everybody involved. People have to be made aware of the regulations under the Athletics Control Act, what the health and safety requirements are, all of the requirements you have to meet, both monetarily, administratively. The real challenge for the promoter is getting the fighters ready, getting the fighters licensed and meeting the medical requirements. Ontario, as you probably know, has some pretty stringent health and safety requirements. Before a fighter sets foot in the cage, he has to satisfy the commissioner through the results of medical tests that he or she is healthy. So that means they have to provide results of MRIs, CT scans, ECGs, blood work, eye tests. The fighter has to be healthy and they have to be safe before they fight. So that's one of the main challenges.
And of course that's for the safety of the fighter, but because it's so stringent like that and there's such challenging hurdles to overcome if you want to get a fighter licensed or if you want to be a promoter, is that in some ways to make it difficult to weed out new or inexperienced promoters?
Well, we're not trying to make it difficult for anybody. Really, our priority is the safety of the fighter, and that's where the Athletics Control Act sets out all of those health and safety requirements. So the promoter has to be aware of that, and he or she has to be prepared to meet those requirements. So we're not trying to make it difficult. In fact, we're trying to make it as easy as possible, and that's why we meet with these promoters, we explain what they need to do, and we try and bring some reality into it. A lot of people see the UFC event and think that there are millions of dollars to be made. That's not always the case. It's a whole different world when you get outside of the UFC events. So we just try and educate them, give them a real clear look at what's involved in promoting an event, and then they have the information they need to decide whether they want to move forward or not.
Yeah, you just touched on something that I want to expand a little bit. A lot of people do look at mixed martial arts now as a bit of a gold mine. They see that, you know, there's a ton of excitement around the UFC. Has that, you know, created a demand that's almost impossible to meet? Like, are there people coming out of, you know, crawling out from under rocks and trying to start promotions?
Well, there are a lot of people approaching us to promote events. We have right now about 22 events scheduled. We've already had 3 so far, one at Rama, one at Caesars Windsor in the UFC event, and now here in London. So there are a lot of promoters who are interested, but we've also had a couple of events that have fallen through, one in Kingston and one in the Toronto area. So it doesn't always work out. We try and give the promoters enough information ahead of time to figure out whether or not they think it can work, but then after that it's really up to them. They have to set up a business plan and they have to decide whether or not it can work based on ticket sales, based on the purse money, the costs of officials, the costs of just putting the event together. So it's really up to them after they meet with us.
And in my humble opinion as an analyst of mixed martial arts, it feels to me like Ontario could not possibly support 22 shows in a year period. That's not really your responsibility to worry about that, though, is it?
No, we're not fans, we're not promoters, we're there to enforce regulations. So the promoters come to us, they indicate the desire to promote an event. We tell them what they need to do to promote it. We have dates that we give out, we license the event, and then really it's up to them to make it work or not.
And touching on that a little further, the fact that a couple don't end up working and had to be canceled, again, that's not really your role to worry too much about that. That's the promoter's issue. Is that right?
Yeah, they're putting up the money. They're the ones that have to make it work. We provide the judges, the referees, the officials, the inspectors. We provide basically the people who oversee everything, the scorekeepers, timekeepers. But ticket sales, the venue, that's all up to the promoter. And if ticket sales don't come through, then it's up to them to decide whether or not to pull the plug. But that's not the business of the Athletics Commissioner.
Thanks, Richard. It's my opinion that you guys are doing a great job, that it's a very challenging job in a brand new landscape, but that you're doing a great job. And I really appreciate you clarifying some of that for us.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.